Welcome, crypto fam, and happy 2023. I hope this is the most fantastic year of your life. In today's show, Bitcoin enters 2023 flat at 16,500. I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis. And Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki says he is stacking more Bitcoin and warns of regulations crushing altcoins. Quoting him here, "Are you investing in Bitcoin?" Yes, I am. I am very excited about Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin is classified as a commodity, much like gold, silver, and oil. Most crypto tokens are classified as a security, and SEC regulations will crush most of them. I am buying more. BTC. Also in today's show, breaking news: Australia overtakes El Salvador to become the fourth largest crypto ATM hub. That's right. Also in today's show, I'll be breaking down why MicroStrategy sold 704 Bitcoins on December 22nd. This is the first time since they started accumulating the crypto asset back in 2020. Also in today's show, crypto bull Tom Lee reveals his 2023 macro outlook and says this year's terrible conditions are unlikely to persist. Quoting him here from a recent interview on CNBC, reminder, many inflation drivers have literally imploded and down flat for 2022 after surging mid-year. One doesn't have to look far to see progress. While wages matter, the Fed doesn't want to crush the economy and doesn't necessarily want to crush jobs. Also in today's show, crypto trader who called the Bitcoin crash says Bitcoin can easily rally to $160,000 and shares his timeline. That's right, crypto analyst Dave the Wave tells his 130,000 Twitter followers that based on his logarithmic growth curve model, Bitcoin could ascend to $160,000 per coin by January 2025. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. Welcome and happy New Year. 2023 is amongst us. Let's freaking go. Today is pod episode number 1150. I'm your host, JV, and today is January 1st. Let's get it. Let's start by kicking off today's show, checking out the crypto market watch. As you can see, all the major cryptos are currently correcting back in the red and currently looking pretty bearish. Bitcoin down 0.25% for the day, trading just above $16,500. We have Ether down 0.5%, trading back under $1,200. XRP down 2%, trading above 33 cents. And as you can see, most of the major alts bleeding in the red. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. Let's get the latest stats with the market cap sitting at 795 billion with about only 17 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. This is very unusually low volume, and the Bitcoin dominance barely back on the rise at 40.1% with the Ether dominance at 18.4%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, Nexo leading the pack, up 9%, trading just under 69 cents, followed by Lido DAO up 7%, trading at $1.03, followed by Toncoin up 4%, trading at $2.27. Below that, we have AKB and FEI USD, which looks like another stable coin. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, you can see the majority are in the red and bleeding like a mofo with mass losses, while OKB is up 20% and BIT is up 16.2%. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, the first reading for the new year, it's currently a 26 in fear. Yesterday was a 25 in extreme fear. Last week a 29, and last month a 27 in fear. Well, welcome everyone just tuning in, and once again, Happy New Year. What are your New Year goals for 2023? Let me know in the comments below, and later on I'll be reading it out during the live Q&A, Ask Me Anything session. With that being shared, let's now dive right into today's Bitcoin technical analysis and see what's happening here. The end of 2022 brought almost zero volatility for Bitcoin, which remained flat at around 16.5. Most of the altcoins also failed to produce any significant volatility, aside from the two recent high flyers, which are OKB and Toncoin. In yesterday's Market Watch, Crypto Potato summarized Bitcoin's overall price movements for the year of 2022, which started on a high note at almost $50,000. Could you imagine that? We started out 1 year ago at 50K, and right now we're at 16.5. So we ended up 65% lower following a violent year that saw multiple collapses thanks to the scam bankman Freedster himself. Now, while zooming in to review the Bitcoin performance for the past few weeks, one can easily notice a lack of any substantial price movements. The crypto has been stuck in a range between $16,000 and $17,000 since the failed attempt to overcome $18,000 on December 14th. Now, 2022's final hours didn't deliver any price fluctuations either, as Bitcoin remained stuck at 16.5, and the start of the new year is amongst us. Now, currently, though, Bitcoin's market cap has stayed under $320 billion, while his dominance over the altcoin sits calm at 40.1% at the time of this recording. Now let's discuss Nexo, which hit double digits in their pump. Although the alts are significantly more volatile than Bitcoin by nature, this has not been the case lately. Most larger caps have produced small moves, including Ethereum. It dipped below 1,200 a few days ago and has failed to reclaim that level ever since. ETH stands quiet on the daily scale once again. Yeah, and Binance Coin, Cardano, and Dogecoin, Polkadot, Polygon, Tron, and Shiba have all slipped by under 1% for the day. Now heading into, well, we actually are already in 2023. Which altcoins are you most bullish on for this year? Let me know in the comments right down below. And with that being shared, now let's dive into our next story of the day, which is a warning from one of my favorite individuals, I should say one of my favorite boomers, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. He's been sharing his bullishness on the King Crypto. Rich Dad, Poor Dad author says he is buying more Bitcoin at the current prices as the King Crypto trades in the depths of the bear market. He tweeted to 2.3 million followers, and he explained his thesis behind investing in the King Crypto. Kiyosaki says that unlike the alts, Bitcoin will likely be able to dodge the hammer of regulators should they decide to clamp down on regulators. Quoting him here on Crypto Twitter, "Are you investing in Bitcoin?" Yes, I am. I am very excited about Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin is classified as a commodity, much like gold, silver, and oil. Most crypto tokens are classified as a security, and SEC regulations will crush most of them. I am buying more BTC. And shout out to Helen with her response, exactly what Max has been reiterating for years. Facts. Now, the Bitcoin bull is also optimistic on the precious metal markets. He predicts rallies for both gold and silver in 2023, calling for 108% and 213% surge respectively, potentially triggered by a stock market crash. Quoting him here, "I became a gold bug 1972. I was a Marine pilot in Vietnam, flying behind enemy lines, hoping to buy gold at a discount because the mine was in enemy hands. Found out the price of gold is the same all over the world. I predict silver going to $75 and gold to $3,800 in 2023. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Rich Dad." And he continues, "I became a silver nut in 1964. I was looking at a dime and saw a copper tinge around the edge. I was only 17, but I knew we were being screwed via our money. Little did I know that the US government violated Gresham's law, which states fake money drives out gold and silver." So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki. And now that takes us to our next story of the day. Let's discuss some crypto ATM adoption. El Salvador was leading the rest of the world, but recently Australia overtook them, which is quite interesting. Check it out. El Salvador was the first country to legalize Bitcoin and has been pushed down yet another spot in the crypto ATM installations as Australia records 216 ATMs stepping into the year 2023. And actually, I have a question. How many of you actually have used a crypto ATM before? Let me know in the comments right down below, regardless if it was for Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. I'm just curious how many of my audience has actually used this technology. With that being shared, as part of El Salvador's drive to establish Bitcoin as the legal tender, Nayib Bukele had decided to install over 200 crypto ATMs across the country. While this move made El Salvador the third largest crypto ATM hub at the time after the United States and Canada as of September 2021, then Spain and Australia overtook the Central American countries' ATM count in 2022. Now, October 2022, as reported, Spain became the third largest crypto ATM hub after installing 215 crypto ATMs. However, Spain continued its installation drive and is home to 226 crypto ATMs at the time of this recording. El Salvador, positioned as the fourth largest crypto ATM hub, was short-lived as Australia stepped up its game over the following months. In the last 3 months of 2022, Australia deployed 99 crypto ATMs, confirms data from Coin ATM Radar. And as of January 1st, 2023, today, Australia recorded 219 active crypto ATMs, overshadowing El Salvador by 7 ATMs at the time of this recording. Also like to point out, I recall when they did the mass ATM adoption in El Salvador, Nayib Bukele specifically made it to where there were no ATM fees for, taking out Bitcoin, etc. I can't say that for Australia and the rest of the world because there's going to be a very large convenience fee, which can range from potentially from 5 to 15%. So do also keep that in mind. Australia represents 0.6% of the global ATM installations, and at this rate is well positioned to take over Asia's crypto ATM numbers, which stands at 312 ATMs. The total number of crypto ATMs worldwide is 38,602, out of which 6,071 ATMs were installed in just 2022 alone. Nigeria's drive to impose the adoption of an in-house central bank digital currency, the e-Naira, forced the government to limit ATM withdrawals to $225 a week, which is pretty sad. Customers should be encouraged to use alternative channels such as internet banking, mobile banking apps, USSD, cards, POS, e-Naira, etc. to conduct their banking transactions, noted Haruna Mustafa, the director of banking supervision, while announcing the drive. So there you have it. All I know is this: the more ATMs, the better it is for the mass adoption around the world. Also note that the KYC, which is required on all centralized exchanges as per regulators, many of these ATMs don't require KYC, so I know regulators are trying to crack down on them, so that's also something to keep in mind. But that's one of the benefits of using a crypto ATM versus a centralized exchange. So yeah, keep that in mind. And with that being shared, now let's dive into our next story of the day and discuss why MicroStrategy sold 704 Bitcoins on December 22nd. Let's break this down, shall we? Here we go. Publicly traded business intelligence company, MSTR, revealed that it sold part of its Bitcoin stash December 22nd for tax purposes. Although the firm later purchased more Bitcoin, the sale defied its promise of never selling any portions of its Bitcoin stash. And as reported earlier, MicroStrategy purchased 2,395 Bitcoins worth $42.8 million between November 1st and December 21st of last year. The company then sold 704 Bitcoin for about $11.8 million on December 22nd before purchasing yet another 810 Bitcoin 2 days later. The firm's filing with the SEC shows that the Bitcoins were sold to generate tax benefits. Quoting them here, MicroStrategy plans to carry back the capital losses resulting from this transaction against previous capital gains to the extent such carrybacks are available under the federal income tax laws currently in effect, which may generate a tax benefit. Now, we got to keep in mind it's still a broken promise. In the summer of 2020, MicroStrategy began its culture by accumulating Bitcoin through its former CEO, Michael Saylor, and since then, the company accumulated a whopping 132,251 BTC, valued at $2.2 billion at the current market prices. This positions MicroStrategy as the largest holder of Bitcoin amongst public companies, even though it sits on a massive unrealized loss of almost $2 billion. And after the 2021 bull run, the price of Bitcoin and other crypto assets, as we all know, plummeted. The downtrend became more pronounced in 2022, but the bear market did not dampen MicroStrategy's Bitcoin buying spirit. In January, interview with Bloomberg, Saylor vowed that his company would not sell his Bitcoin holdings, quoting him here, "Never. No, we're not sellers. We're only acquiring and holding Bitcoin, right? That's our strategy," he said. In the same month, Feng Li, who was MicroStrategy's chief financial officer at the time, declared that the company would keep a buy and hold policy. So there you have it. What are your thoughts surrounding MicroStrategy cashing out some of their Bitcoin to pay some taxes? Let me know in the comments right down below, which leads us to our next story of the day, which is a forecast from Thomas Lee, who is a crypto OG and actually the founder of, I believe, Litecoin, right? And I believe he sold all of his stash and he's no longer involved in that project like he once was. But nonetheless, he is sharing some predictions for 2023. So let's break this down, shall we? Fundstrat Global Advisors managing partner Tom Lee thinks the terrible macroeconomic conditions are unlikely to persist next year. In a new Twitter thread, he says he thinks inflation is falling faster than the markets and the Federal Reserve expect. The CNBC contributor notes the Fed likes to see a strong labor market, quoting him here, "Reminder, many inflation drivers have literally imploded and down flat for 2022 after surging mid-year. One doesn't have to look far to see progress. While wages matter, the Fed doesn't want to crush the economy and doesn't necessarily want to crush jobs. Or do they?" That's the million-dollar question. Lee also says that stocks tend to bounce back after years down, as he shares here, unless the inflation crisis persists. Financial conditions will ease. This means stocks rise, and stocks rarely post back-to-back annual declines. In fact, 3 of 5 best ever annual gains came after a negative year. And it still puzzles me why the US is the worst performing global stock market in 2022 outside of China's zone-ish countries. Why is Europe outperforming when Europe is in the teeth of an energy crunch / inflation spiral? Great questions. Lee points to a stat shared by Matt Sermonero, a research associate at Fundstrat. Sermonero notes that there have been only 3 years in the past 50, which was 1974, 2002, and 2008, when the S&P has had as many as negative 1% days as 2022. The year follows 1974, 2002, and 2008, all witnessed at least 23% gains, according to Sermonaro. And investors have had a painful year. The S&P in 2022 has had 63 negative 1% days. Ouch. In the past 50 years, there have only been 3 years with as many days down, negative 1%. That was 1974, 2002, and 2008. And returns in the following year are 32%, 26%, and 23%. So what's to come in 2023? Let me know your guess in the comments right down below, which leads us to our next and final story of the day, which is $160,000 Bitcoin price prediction from top crypto analyst Dave the Wave. So let's break this down, shall we? Here we go. Crypto analyst who nailed the Bitcoin collapse last year predicts a massive surge for the King Crypto. Send it. Let's freaking go. The analyst known in the industry as Dave the Wave tells his 131,000 Twitter followers that based on his logarithmic growth curve model, Bitcoin can ascend to $160,000 by January of 2025. Quoting him here along with this chart, on the basis of the LGC, which has stood the test of time for 4 years, Bitcoin could easily do a 10x over the next couple of years. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the crypto analyst. Now, the LGC model is the analyst's attempt to predict the cycle highs and lows of Bitcoin amid changing macroeconomic conditions. According to the crypto strategist, the LGC and his prediction remain valid as long as Bitcoin stays above the support of the model on the multi-month basis, as he outlines here. As to when the LGC could be invalidated by future price, a multi-month close significantly below the base curve as it's a macro model. Now, Dave the Wave also says the LGC model continues to track the price action of Bitcoin despite the gloom and doom surrounding the crypto markets. As he points out here, so far, the base of the Bitcoin LGC has proven to be the best support of price. The increasing real correction of the cycles, 23%, 38%, and 50%, is implicit in the chart from a year back, confirming rather. So there you have it. And he also believes that the baseline of the model will continue to act as support, just as the top of the LGC served as resistance during the last bull market. Quoting him here, the previous bubble is effectively popped. It is quite something else in the aggregate, where the speculative excess culminates in a series of punctuated peaks. The corrections serve to provide a baseline of sorts, with the baseline representing a logarithmic growth curve. So there you have it. What are your thoughts surrounding Bitcoin going parabolic over the next few years and ascending to $160,000 and beyond? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below. And speaking of price predictions, also got to point out Max Kaiser is still bullish for 2023, calling for $100,000. Tim Draper was very optimistic. He actually was rocking all this gear with his prediction of a $250,000 Bitcoin price in 2022, including a hat, and saying while it didn't happen for last year in 2022, he is still optimistic that it will happen and is inevitable by the year 2024, which is the time of the next halving. We also have Credible Crypto predicting $150,000 Bitcoin price. Samson Mao was also very bullish. We have other analysts predicting high, but the majority of the analysts are predicting a new low for the first quarter of 2023, as I covered in yesterday's episode. If you missed it, be sure to check it out. But I shared a potential $8,000 scenario that can crash the Bitcoin price, as another epic crash can occur this year and potentially could be a black swan event like we witnessed so many of them in 2022, including the obvious FTX being one of the largest exchanges in the world going under, and SBF being arrested after being called the White Knight of crypto, the Michael Jordan of crypto, more like the biggest scam artist to ever exist in crypto, and Caroline Ellison, the Harry Potter of crypto. You can't make this stuff up, folks. Do you think Bankman-Fried is likely to do any jail time anytime soon, or do you think he is out on bail for a very long time? And obviously, there's a big plea deal in 2 more days, January 3rd, which would be Tuesday. He's going to be doing allegedly a plea deal in Manhattan, and Basically, reports say he's going to be pleading not guilty, but what makes this whole thing ironic is Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang of FTX, the execs, they're already pointing the finger at Sam, saying Sam told us to do this. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out in the end. But bigger picture, where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go in 2023? Let me know in the comments right down below. With that being shared, now let's dive into my favorite segment of the live show, which is the live Q&A, where you can literally ask me anything. Matthew C., Happy New Year, my friend. Helen, always a pleasure. Mikey likes it. Dragon Flower. We got Nate. We got the whole crew. We got Daldor. We got Stephen French. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jeff, good to see you too, family. Always a pleasure. Nate in the building. Digital Dankness, I appreciate the super chat contributions as always. We also, another $10 sent to me today. Appreciate that, family. We got Sailing with Twins. Always a pleasure, my man. Robert, where did Robert come from? Predictive, I guess you're talking about Robert Kiyosaki. Gus, welcome back, fam. I'm glad you're here. GNTHR, Happy New Year to you as well. This upcoming bull run is going to be great with the Crypto News Alerts family. Can't wait. Shout out to Selling with Twins. It is absolutely going to be epic of all proportions, to say the least. Thomas says he is bullish on Aave. Well, thanks for sharing that. What other altcoins are you guys bullish on for 2023, if any? Let me know in the comments. I'll be reading them out loud. Satwise Jank says Polygon is the only alt that I would touch. Good to hear. And for those not familiar with Polygon/Matic, it is a layer 2 scaling solution for the Ethereum blockchain, making it easier to move funds around without the outrageous gas fees. Happy New Year to you as well from London, Stephen. Appreciate that. Nate says, met some great folks from Puerto Rico this past week. You were in Puerto Rico and didn't tell me? How dare you? In my Greta impersonation. Vacation in here in the U.S. Got to get down there one of these days. Looks like beautiful place. Oh, yeah. I mean, Puerto Rico is a great place. And if you're a U.S. citizen, it doesn't require a passport, making it easy to just hop on a plane and head down here on a vacay. And yeah, it's a great place to visit. You got to come check it out. Steven says, let's hope for thick green candles in 2023. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping for it, fam. Nate says some Bitcoin success this coming cycle. I absolutely will take a Puerto Rico vacation to celebrate. Let's do it. Don't wait till the $100,000 party. Let's celebrate earlier. We need it. Mikey says, I made $30 USD this weekend on Doge. Used it to buy dog food for the mutt, for reals. Congratulations on feeding your dog using your profits from Doge. How ironic. And I heard the original Doge dog actually got sick more recently. I saw that in the news last week, so hopefully the dogs survive, but it's wild. I have a sweet spot for dogs. I got my dog here, Nipsey. You can't see it because he's kind of blocked off in this angle, but he's my best friend. So shout out to Nipsey. Crypto ATMs are too expensive, so stat-wise, DCA using Strike every hour. That's what's up. Are you literally DCAing every hour, 24 hours in the day using Strike? That's what's up. Shout out to Jack Mullers on that. And yeah, crypto ATMs, I mean, you're paying a convenience fee because you got to remember, there's a business owner who invested in the crypto ATM to make money, right? So they're going to earn a percentage. They're not going to be doing it for free. The only crypto ATMs that I'm aware of that are allegedly free are in El Salvador because the president made that a priority once they made Bitcoin a legal tender so people wouldn't get taken advantage of, you know, moving from USD to BTC, etc. Yeah, call it a mutt coin. All gains go to mutt food and accessories. That's hilarious. Unschool yourself says Australia equals the World Economic Forum, stronghold country. I agree with that. It's very unfortunate. So my heart goes out to the people in Australia experiencing these very, very uncertain economic times in their country. Maldor says, I live in Australia and haven't seen a Bitcoin ATM yet. Well, make sure to check out one of those apps you can download like on your iPhone, and it will tell you, I think it's like Coin Radar or something like that, ATM Radar, and it will show you all the locations so you at least know where they are. Even here in Puerto Rico, there's crypto ATMs everywhere. I can't go to a gas station without seeing one, so I think that's pretty cool. It just goes to show you it's a sign of the times. Market forces will bring down those ATM convenience fees over time. It could take a while. Exactly. Fortunately, competition reduces fees, but right now I don't think there's so much competition because we're so early in the adoption curve. Happy New Year's to y'all as well. Dio says, cheers to amazing New Year's. Absolutely. I started buying crypto November of 2021, says Jeff. That's what's up. And that's actually a great question. When did everyone get started in crypto? I actually purchased my first Bitcoin back in 2017. I remember Bitcoin was roughly $1,500, and I probably spent $500 on fees using my credit card to buy it. I think I used Coin Mama back in the day. I think that was the first place I ever bought Bitcoin, and they would destroy you on the fees. But hey, it is what it is. Wow, right? Nate says market forces will work. That is, as long as it's a free economy and not some variation of a top-down, centralized socialist society. I actually think Bitcoin could over time promote freedom. Absolutely. Bitcoin equals freedom in my book. There's no question about it. Satwise says smart move for Saylor to take tax losses and then buy back in. Yeah, smart man at the end of the day. Probably one of the smartest. Happy New Year. Happy New Year world. Let Bitcoin reign and grease the wheels of freedom everywhere. Preach, Nate. Appreciate that. Maldor says Jeff started November of 2021 as well. Theta was my first buy. Cool. So a lot of you got started in 2021. Good to note. Who was the earliest crypto adopter here? Anyone get started pre-2017, such as 2016, 2015, 2014? Let me know in the comments. Jeff says, I cringe when I look back at the prices of crypto back in November of 2021 when I started buying. It's insane and unfortunate because many of you got started at the top. You know, very unfortunate. I guess you can blame Sam Bankman-Fried, but you got to hodl for the long haul because obviously you caught the wrong tail of the cycle. You caught the top. It is what it is, and it's unfortunate, but a lot of people purchased at the top. I would say the majority of the people probably buy at the top because that's when retail investors can't resist. They're like looking at Bitcoin back when it was $3,000-$4,000, and then it's like, oh my God, it's $69,000. I have to buy or I'm forever going to miss out. And that's what motivates people. It's FOMO, fear of missing out. It's probably the biggest motivator. It just is what it is. Bitcoin Trini, good to see you, family. Dragonflower says, I need these parabolic prices. Let's go. Puerto Rico for 100,000 Bitcoin party with JV. Send it. Let's get it. Yeah, once Bitcoin hits 100,000, we are going to party. You guys are all invited. It'll be a good time. Let's get it. Yeah. So many talking about what the Bitcoin price might be by the time of the early 2024 halving. But remember, the biggest Bitcoin gains have always come after the halving, not before. Facts. 2025 is when I expect the new all-time high for the cycle to go parabolic, hopefully within multiple six figures. I don't expect that in 2024. The year of the halving, I think realistically we can return to the all-time high, roughly 69 grand, but I don't honestly anticipate $100,000 plus until 2025, just based upon previous cycles. But again, history doesn't always repeat, but it necessarily rhymes oftentimes. So we'll see how that plays out. SBF will go to jail, says Dragonflower. I hope you're right. But at this point, I feel like he feels like he's not going to get in any trouble, and I feel like he's being protected by the higher-ups, and it couldn't be any more apparent, at least at this time, but I hope things change. Helen is calling for a Bitcoin price at $8,000. I hope you're right for the sake of all of us stacking sats in 2023, because that would be an epic opportunity. Nico says, JV, all the best in the new year, bro. Happy New Year, family, and thanks for your continued support. I appreciate that. SBF thing looks like a scripted movie. Smells like Hollywood. He's already in talks with Hollywood producers. They absolutely will be shooting a movie. Abso-freaking-lutely. I just hope he doesn't play as himself, and I hope he actually gets locked up. If he is not guilty, I don't know who is, says Helen. Exactly. Maybe Gary Gensler is guilty, allowing him to get away with this fraud and not taking the necessary actions the regulator should have to prevent this from happening and damaging over 1 million investors around the world. You know what I mean? Who lost over $8 billion, all thanks to that fraudster. Love you, Jay. Happy New Year. Love you too, Helen. You're one of the day ones here on the channel, so I greatly respect and appreciate all your support throughout the years. Thank you. Call me crazy, but I might drop a bag on Solana at $3 to $6, says Dragonflower. Personally, I will not be touching Solana whatsoever and will not be shocked if it goes to zero, but hey, anything's possible. Number one show, Jay. Thank you, Helen. Appreciate that. Matthew says if the same number of Bitcoin leaves the exchanges as what did in the past 3 years, Bitcoin will be nearly impossible to get. You make a great point. Talk about scarcity. Michael Cerami, Happy New Year's to you as well. Nate says Polygon is my favorite alt as well. Dio says, so we are 72 on the live chat. Some of y'all need to hit that like button. Thanks for the reminder. The greatest compliment you can do is smash the like, turn on all notifications, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Gus says, why own ETH if you can use Polygon Matic nearly for free and have a bigger and higher upside gains? You make a great point. Great question. Hughset says, Happy New Year's from Canada. Happy New Year to all my Canadians, except Mr. Wonderful. Not a fan of that guy. Nate says, favorite of my top 100. I do have a few highly speculative alts well out of the top 100. That I like too, but Polygon tops my high reward, less risky alts. Thank you for sharing. Robinhood has ATMs, says Jeff. Good to note. Bitcoin Trini says bullish on Matic and Polygon. So it seems the majority of you are all bullish on Polygon. Good stuff. Unschool says almost bought Bitcoin in 2012, but did not trust it. Oh my God. Hindsight equals 2020. OMG. No comment. Trini says first Bitcoin purchase in 2015. Congratulations. You are truly a Bitcoin OG. That's what's up. I hope you seized that opportunity back in 2015, buying as much as you possibly could. Foresight is priceless. Hindsight is 2020. Facts. Gray says realistically it won't break 100,000 in the next 5 years. I strongly disagree there. Can I be wrong? Absolutely. But for me, it's very difficult for me to imagine a Bitcoin price by the year of 2028 still under $100,000. It's possible. I just don't see it happening. I think we're going to be multiple six figures by that time, but that's just my two Satoshis. I doubt Bitcoin will go below 13,000 if even that far. You make a great point. I mean, we've already hit a low of 15.7 thanks to the FTX collapse, and it's been holding steady at around 16.5. I think it's going to take another like black swan event, something outrageous to happen. Maybe the SEC going after Binance, or maybe an exchange like Binance going under, or maybe the SEC going after Ethereum or Cardano, etc. These type of events could potentially spark a lower low, creating more uncertainty and fear in the crypto market, which can potentially take us a lot lower, as Helen has pointed out, with an $8,000 target. It's all possible. We'll see how it plays out. Mikey says, I'm starting to have the attitude of stacking sats in 2023 and ignore the price. Huddle and forget about it. Then recheck price in 2028. I like that idea. I'm in. Bitcoin to freedom, says Nick Downey. Nancy says FTX trial run, global Ponzi. Exactly. I think it was all by design to help usher in unethical regulation, as we're starting to witness. Mikey says, thanks, Matthew. The long game will be our savior. 555. I move all of my ETH to Bitcoin after the FTX collapse. Smart move. I moved the majority of my ETH to Bitcoin as well after the collapse because I no longer trust Ethereum. I don't trust the Ethereum Foundation. I don't trust the regulators who are claiming they're going to be going after Ethereum now that it's considered a security or unregistered security after switching from proof of work to proof of stake. There's just too many questions for me to trust it as I once did. And just being honest, the only crypto I can truly, genuinely trust has to be decentralized because there's no single point of failure for the bad guys, such as the regulators, to go after. It is what it is. Matthew says, Dragonflower, that's because it is owned by a few institutions and people that locked in ETH to staking cannot sell. Facts. BTFD says Bitcoin Trini. I appreciate the reminder. And once again, Happy New Year to my entire crypto fam. And now for a recap and big finish of what I shared with you here in today's show. We discussed the latest Bitcoin and crypto technical analysis, discussing Bitcoin entering 2023 flat at $16,500. We also discussed Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki says he is stacking more sats and warns of regulations crushing the altcoins. That's right. We also discuss Australia overtaking El Salvador to become the fourth largest crypto ATM hub. And we also discuss why MicroStrategy sold 704 Bitcoins on December 22nd before buying more back up. We also discuss Tom Lee and his bullish price predictions for 2023, saying that this year's terrible conditions are unlikely to persist. And we also discussed a very bullish Bitcoin price prediction of the King Crypto hitting $160,000 as per Dave the Wave. Where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely